Hello, this is Nina from the Forgotten Bookshop Girl, and today I wanted to try something, and I thought in case it works, I would really like to share this with you. So I thought if I filmed the whole process, then I can. And the plan is today to make a traveler's notebook insert out of this empty coffee bag. Do you call them bag? I don't know. It's because I really love the design of this brand. It's called Coaltown, so please look it up. I'll leave a link to their website underneath this video. And they're also kind of not very, the roastery is not very far from here, and I also know the owner. So, but apart from that, I've always really loved their designs, and I just couldn't throw it out. I've been thinking of what I could do, and I thought, how about trying to make an insert, because the height should work out, and if I was to use this bit of material as well, I also get kind of the width to get that working. So hopefully they should work. So I thought the first thing I'm going to do is kind of carefully cut the bottom bit from the bag, and then because then I will have the full length. I was also thinking that the string could maybe make a nice kind of like a bookmark. Or even this would really make a really nice bookmark. You can just stick it onto the page you're using. So I don't know yet, but I've already checked. I can carefully pull it through, and there's a little knot, so I can cut it here. And I might actually do that first. There you go, scissors. Because at first I thought I might want to kind of just leave it as it is and then glue this onto the notebook, but I could still do that. So let's take this off first, and then try and cut. Okay, let's see. Okay, obviously I don't want to lose too much of the length, just in case, because it's ripped up here, and I can always cut more off. So I think if I did this, that should be a good start, hopefully. Of course, because of the material on the inside, I have no idea if the glue I've got here is going to work. Okay, I might actually even keep this roasted on and best before, and have that somewhere in the traveler's notebook, you know, in case I get this to work. Okay. So let's see. Got I should probably do first is maybe create a really nice clean cut at the top. So I'm going to do that. I didn't, well, obviously when I tried this out, I wasn't, you know, thinking about making a traveler's notebook, otherwise I would have cut the top. Let's just have a look. Okay, so I'm going to need kind of as much as possible, but I suppose I could just kind of like, I'm going to glue it onto something else anyway, but if I just cut it here for now and then just see what happens. Okay. Have any of you ever done anything like this? I mean, sure there must have been somebody out there turning packaging or bags or something into travelers' notebooks. I need generally make sure that I don't lose any out of the material. Okay, let's try here. Maybe I could use some washi tape at the top or something. Okay, so right through, but so obviously this is plenty. So if I had, oh, that would work quite nicely. It looks like given the extra bit of space I've got here from the side, that oopsie, I've got the right width, so that this could be the edge of the notebook, which would be really neat. That worked. And I think even if the notebook turned out to be a little bit kind of narrow or wider, I think that would be okay. Still, and I could maybe, if I left this, could I maybe create a little pocket at the front and back page. Okay, so next thing I need to do is cut this. Let's see, I would normally really like to do that with my knife, because that would allow me to get a really nice straight line, but I obviously can't do this, so I'll have to do this really carefully. Let's see. Okie doke. And coffee on the inside. Okay, so here we go. I was thinking of gluing this on and this as well. So this is the back, this is the front. And then this would be the cover. And then I thought, because obviously this isn't thick enough, or I need to take this off, I wanted to just glue it on something. This is some craft paper. This came from, you know, when you get wrapping paper, and sometimes in the middle of the wrapping paper, when it's kind of on a roll, you get this thin kind of like craft paper kind of material in the middle, and I always keep hold of that, and I thought the colours would work really nicely. So this is going to be the inside. Maybe if I did something like that, so if I glued this on, then that could be a flap. I'm just thinking if I wanted to strengthen this too. So would I go like this and then fold it over? But I think what I should do first is give this a good clean and dry it. I need to carefully prise this off without destroying anything or getting into my fingers. I mean, if this doesn't come away and I would have to cut a hole, I could always put something on top. I mean, I could have like a little label on there. So anyway, but I'm going to clean this first and dry it and then get to the next step. Okay, so this is clean and dry. I managed to get this thing off, the plastic thing. It's a little bit damaged, but I've still got kind of like the outer layers there, and as I'm going to glue something against it, I think I'll be okay. I thought it might be an idea to cut, you know, to just level this at the bottom, but it's just really difficult because I don't really have any right angles on this. So I thought what might be an idea to actually cut the craft board or craft paper first, because that will be, you know, obviously easier to measure and cut to size, and then glue this on and then cut it afterwards. That's the idea anyway. Now I still have to decide whether I want the craft paper to just be kind of like on the inside and then have these little flaps as they are, or if I want it to go all the way and them to be kind of like a bit thicker and have them there. I was just thinking, because this one is kind of ripped at the top, that it might be quite good to have kind of like the craft paper all the way. I'm just wondering if, you know, because it will be a bit thicker here, how well I can glue this on. And also, because obviously I won't be gluing anything onto this edge, because then if I did, I mean I could, but then I wouldn't have the flaps. So that would be another option, to kind of cut these off altogether, then just cover the back with the craft paper, and then I can always add some you know, add some pockets anyway, and I think that might be the easiest way to do it. But obviously I want, in a way, you know, you want to be using as much as possible of the whole original structure. So what would you do? Okay, I'll have a moment and think about this, and then I'll get back. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, this is Midori's notebook insert. So I've just used this as a template, and this is actually the perfect size, because I've got enough on both sides, because I did decide to go for the more complicated option and try and cover the inside of the flaps. Hang on, let's go. Okay, so I'm going to cover the whole area, and yeah, and then keep these flaps on there, and have those covered as well, because I think it should be okay. So I'll just give it a go. The other thing I've done, because I'm a bit worried at how well the glue is going to stick on the inside, because obviously this I'm not sure how you can actually glue anything to this, because it's really, you know, really shiny, and you really want to be something that is a bit more porous, and I don't really have any super special glue that would work with that right now at home. So I just used a what do you call them, sandpaper. I just used some sandpaper, and I'm hoping that this will give the glue a bit more grip. But first of all, let's just cut this. I've made all the marks. done. Okay, I think what I might do, because I would quite like to trying to think. Okay, this is the shinier side and this is kind of a rougher side, so I think I'm going to put the glue on this side and glue it. Then maybe I'll just fold it over. Oh no, hang on, this is going to go. I might just fold it over so I've got the middle. Because I'm just hoping that that will help me to get it right there. And okay, now I'll get my glue ready. Let's get the glue. So I'm just going to use PVA glue and we're going to see if that's going to work or not. Because, I mean, the whole thing is an experiment, so we'll just see. God, I hope it doesn't dry on me. Okay, that looks like it's all covered. It's already starting to dry here. No, don't dry yet. Okay. Could do with a second piece of paper. I'm not well prepared, am I? Hang on. There, because now I'm thinking I should also add some glue. As long as I don't end up with glue all over my cutting mat. Still got like bits of coffee everywhere for some reason. The coffee grains, and I don't want the dried off bit in there. Some of the coffee grain got into the glue, but hey. Getting there. Oh no, my cover, the other part is drying. I'm not quick enough. Disaster. Okay. Sticking the two together is going to be fun. Right, okay. This one's done. Let's do that. Quickly check this. Okay. Whoops. Don't dry yet. I just wait. You know, whenever you want glue to dry quickly, it doesn't. And then, you know, when you don't want it to dry quickly, it does. Let's see. How do I do this? I don't know. Oh no! Oh no! Some of it stuck to the back. Okay, I'll deal with that later. Get rid of this. It's all soggy from the glue. Okay, we've got the middle. And we've got the middle there. So, I'm going to do it all wrong, aren't I? Don't know if that was the best idea at all. Should I just start at the edge? I'm all confused now and I've got glue everywhere. Right, let's just do this. Let's just oh, I can actually move it. Cool. got glue everywhere. This is probably how not to do it. I don't know. This bit. I might just get my bone folder. Let's try this carefully. So I said, it's an experiment, so it might not work. Okay. Oh no. Oh well. No, as long as I don't. It's a bit messy, I know I do. Got some glue on the cutting mat, and obviously I don't want the glue to get on the back. There. But I can always do that afterwards when it, you know, the glue is dried, and then just double check all the edges and see if that's okay. Just wonder if I should do this now, because I wanted to glue this down. I suppose I could just as well do that. And then I'm going to stick it under some heavy books. And while I'm waiting for this to dry, I can start on cutting the paper for the pages that are going to go into this notebook. I don't know if it's, you know, if the whole thing is actually going to work or not, but if it's not working, I can use the pages I've got for something else, and I want to stay optimistic. I'm sure I can do something with it. And even if it's kind of like a, you know, a failed experiment, I tried, and I think something is going to, it's going to work somehow, even if it might not be the neatest cover, but I tried. You know, it's not as if I'm going to sell this. This is, you know, just for me, so I don't have to worry about, you know, something not really looking neat. Let's see. I could always use some washi tape if I have to, or maybe sew through this line. We'll see. Okay. Let's leave it as it is. I'm going to stick it under some heavy books, and then we'll find out what it looks like once it's dry. So it's now actually the following day. The glue did take quite long to dry, but by the time I'd finished it, it was already late afternoon, and then I didn't get back to it, and being under the heavy books to keep it flat, it obviously would take longer to dry. But anyway, now I'm back with looking at some papers that I'm going to use in the notebook. Where shall we start? Obviously, thinking about it being packaging of coffee. I mean, I have to use coffee dyed paper, don't I? So I've got some readies of different shapes. I'll probably use some sheet music, some book pages, and I really like to, I think I would like to stick to the theme of brown and black. Then just some plain pages. I've got some lined pages as well. Then I thought an old map would probably look quite nicely in there. I've got some, it's like packaging paper, and I've got another map, and then I just had another book page which I thought that would probably look quite nice in it. And then I started looking through all a box with all my bits and pieces of paper that didn't get used in other projects, so I'll probably use some of that. And then I've also got some coffee dyed record cards that I thought I might try and use in them, and some graph paper, and also I'll probably use some of the Tim Holtz vellum paper, because I thought that would look really nice in it, so I'll probably choose one of these. And it's the, hang on, in case you're interested, it's the Tim Holtz Ideology Wallflower vellum. So that's where they came from. And now I'll start cutting my paper, and then afterwards I'll get the cover out, and I'll definitely be doing some sewing on it, so that will be the next one. I just thought maybe I show you how I fold them and how I'm making the most of the pages I've got. So, for example, with the graph paper, where's my, oh, there we go. This is the Midori, so as of the original insert. So I just used my craft mat, and it's 11 centimeters long and about 21 centimeters high. So mostly this is really good for folding paper, kind of like this. So I just measured about a little bit less than 11 centimeters, because when you start putting, because if you only got one signature in an insert, so a signature means that all the pages are folded and put into each other, so that's one signature. And so that means that the pages on the inside will be starting to stick out because of the kind of the bulk that starts to create at the back. Hope that made sense. Yeah, so that they don't start sticking out, I usually have a little bit less, even though I'm not too bothered if pages do stick out. So I folded it once, and then I would probably normally cut this little bit off, but with this page I thought I'm going to create a fold out. So if I'm kind of like working in the book, when I get to this page I can fold it out and use more space. Then with these I usually end up folding them in half, because I quite like to have like different sizes of pages as well. See, and that works. This is 10 centimeters, so that works quite well. So I'll do a few of those, because those are really nice to just stick in. And I don't really worry about you know, that I tore it out of the notebook and it's a bit torn here, but I usually just go with it, and I quite like it. It adds to the whole worn, travelled around the world look. Then let's do this page right again. I'll just measure roughly kind of like the 11 centimeters, but go for a little bit less. With this I might, okay, let's do another fold out with this one because it has a really nice pattern from, you know, from the coffee dyeing. I'm just trying to think of showing you different kinds of paper. Let's go for one of these. It really depends. Sometimes I go across because, yeah, like with the others, and I don't really mind that I haven't got the lines to write on, but I still like the design of the lines. So let's go. Let's do one like that. So again, I'm folding it so that I've got roughly 11 centimeters. There we go. I might just leave that bit at the top because it looks quite nice. Once I've put all the papers together, I might decide to cut it off, so I'll just leave it for now. And let's say I'm going to do this as a fold out as well. I just make sure this is where I need to fold it, so I just remember. And then I'll do, the lines are confusing me now. Okay, let's do this. There, so this is the line. Okay. Okay, so I've got this one. Then the other thing I can do with a lined paper is go this way, because if I'm doing it this way, you know, I've got my a little bit over 10 centimeters, and then all I need to do is cut a little bit off at the top. There we go, just about there. And then sometimes what I'll do, I'll hang on to these and just have those in my notebooks as well as a kind of like a small bit of paper. So I've got this one. And yeah, this is kind of the way how I'm folding most papers. Oh, hang on, let's go for the brown craft paper. This was, well, it's not really craft paper, it's packaging. So, and I've found that it worked best, or I get probably most out of it, by folding it this way, even though it's kind of a narrower piece of paper. So let's do this one and cut it at the top. And with any scraps of paper that I've cut off, even if I'm not going to use them in this notebook, I'll always hold on to them, because I can always use them in another notebook. Also with this, I could just hang on to this and have a smaller page in the same notebook, so I'll probably do that. Then I can also go this way, which means that I'll have a shorter page, but it will be wider. So let's do this with this one. There we go. And then I'll just along here. And it's actually really nice to be creating kind of like different sizes of paper while you go along. Then what could we do with this bit? I would find, even though this is taller, this is quite narrow, this gives me a bit more width. So I go this way. So I've got another two, and I'll just fold up a few more, and then I'll get the notebook out and start the sewing. I mean the cover. So here we go. This is how it turned out so far. As I thought, you can see these air bubbles, but I kind of knew that this would happen. I think it's mainly due to the fact that obviously the inside of the packaging wasn't really made for being glued on to anything, well, at least with the glue that I've had. So I'm not too bothered about that, and actually it's sticking better than I thought it would. Then these flaps are looking really good. I think I might leave the longer bit on this side. You can see that the it's not quite dry there. Kind of the craft paper I've used on the inside is a bit longer, but that would give me a kind of a wider tack spot, so I might just leave that and have a shorter one at the front, because you can still stick something in there. Then yeah, definitely you can see that this is the bit where I had to take off the plastic thing. So either I'm going to have a label, or we've still got this, so I could just glue this onto the front. I could maybe do both, have a label and then have this sticking on the side or something. So I have to think about this one. I said what I would go and sew. One reason, because I thought it would help to keep the two layers together, and then also because obviously because I had to use a little bit of the side of the bag to get a wider notebook. Kind of, you know, things that were in the center have moved to the right, and I think if I kind of create more lines, I thought I'll use black sewing yarn. It would kind of like bring it together more, and also maybe remind the whole thing about like sewn coffee bean sacks. I don't know, so we'll see how that works out. I mean, the whole thing is an experiment, so I think you'll just go with it and see what happens. So yes, the next thing I'm going to do, before I get the sewing machine, I thought it might be best to just make sure that I get a nice clean line. So I'm going to cut a little bit off the bottom and the top here. I think I'm going to leave the tear because I don't want to lose too much of the height really. So I might either leave this, or I could always later on, you know, have something on top, or, you know, washi tape or something, or a picture. So I'm sure I can think of something to do. But yeah, I'm going to cut it, and then I'll get my sewing machine out. we've got another update from my really messy desk, but I thought I found it more important to do the update and carry on filming rather than tidy my desk first. So I'm really pleased with how far I got. Let me just show you the insert. Unfortunately, my phone stopped filming while I was trying to film how I was sewing this. So I'll just show you. I might actually go and check if the phone's actually recording. So as I said, what I've done, I wanted to create something. It's almost like somebody had been scribbling around with a pencil or a pen, but did it with obviously with a sewing machine. So I went along these two edges and then kind of like went around all the the labels on here, and around this one and this little one, and then I've got I also created a label for the insert, and this is a coffee dyed envelope. You can see it's envelopes have these amazing patterns on the inside, so this is a coffee dyed envelope, kind of the inside. And then the next thing I did, I just went along all these lines and then round the whole insert. So that's all the sewing I've done here. And then I kind of like cut all the threads, because at first I thought whether I should leave some of them, but because all of it is quite it seemed to I felt like it seemed to interfere with the rest of the insert, because it's kind of quite squiggledy and it distracted from that. So I decided to just cut them off, and then I secured some with just a tiny little bit of glue on the inside and the outside. I might actually do some of them because I don't want some of the ends to unravel, even though I did go, backwards and forwards sewing with a sewing machine. So anyway, this is the insert. Then I've got some tea dyed record cards, which just did a test, and they stick in here really well, so that works perfectly. Then I've got my pages sorted, I feel. I've decided to go with this as the first page. It's just because even though I really like the way it looks with all the sewn lines, it's kind of, there's a lot going on, and I just felt that having the map here kind of worked really well to kind of the colours. And even though lots is going on the map, I thought it added some kind of calm to it, and also kind of like all the lines of the rivers and the boundaries are a little bit like, that being somebody had sewn lines in there. So I thought that looked really nicely. Then I've done a little bit more sewing, because I thought, how about having a little pocket? I wanted to, first of all, I thought I'd just have a pocket, kind of like, I don't know, top loading pocket, no idea what you call them. But then I thought if I left this open, I could slide something that is a little bit wider and take it out more easily. And because I've got this flap, it's kind of secured. It's a little bit like a hidden tack spot or pocket. So I quite like this. And then because you remember, I've got the vellum here, and I cut this is one of the offcuts, and I thought that would look really nice in the notebook. So all I've done is I did sew it to another piece of paper, and so that I've got 2 more pockets, and the idea is to kind of like have it just like that. And I've got sort of like more pockets in here. Yeah, I'm quite happy. Oh yes, and I've got another map in, which is going to go in the middle, and I'm going to create another pocket from this. So once I've bound the notebook, I'm going to glue these 2 sides. Unfortunately, I won't be able to sew them unless I try to sew them by hand, because yeah, otherwise I won't be able to bind it here. Unless what I could do is have it going this way, and then I could do the binding on the line of of the flap, and then I could sew it. So that's a possibility, and I might do this, even though it's kind of tempting to have an envelope opening this way. But I could do that, but because of all the other sewing, it might probably look quite nice if I had it there. So I'll think about that one. And the next thing I'm going to do is bind the notebook. Okay, I'm ready for sewing now. What I've done is I did sew the envelope in the middle. And I've decided to put it in kind of this way, so that this is the middle of the book, and I can sew the inside of the book to the cover through here, so I can open and close the envelope flap. I was thinking about maybe having a little something here I can kind of like tuck it into. But I'm not quite sure yet. I could just probably use some paper clips on the side if I wanted to make sure that it's shut. But I can always do that once it's all finished. And then I've also used my bone folder to crease the, or to get a tidier edge on all the papers, because obviously all the papers having been or most of the papers having been coffee dyed, kind of the paper, because it's no longer flat, there's kind of a more volume to it. And the other thing I've done, I did sew this cord into at the top, into the top of the cover, and I'm going to use this as a bookmark. So the next thing I need to do is get my cover and the pages ready for sewing. So what I need to do first is make sure that they are all kind of sitting neatly together, and then I need to find the middle. And just to keep them all in place, I'm just using some clothes pegs. So I find those they work really well. There we go. I find it works best if you don't open up the pages too much, because you want all the pages kind of like sticking together in this groove. And then next thing, I'm going to get the yellow pages out, and then I'm sticking kind of like this valley of pages into the crease, and I'm going to use a pamphlet stitch, or sometimes it's also called a saddle stitch. So I'm going to pierce holes into the paper, and I just realised, obviously, with all this talking, I need to add the cover, don't I? Okay, kind of just debating whether I should do more holes than just the 3. Okay, so but anyway, you kind of start off, oops, you really want to make sure that all the papers are sitting really nicely in this crease, so that all the holes line up nicely and it's easier to sew. So I usually go kind of like a centimetre or something from the top, and there's a hole, and then I also do the same again, kind of like a centimetre from the bottom. And also because I've got papers of different sizes in there, I want to kind of like make sure that I catch all the papers while I'm sewing them. So the next one is going to be in the middle, and then I'm going to do another one sort of in between these 2 holes. Go right here. I'm not going to measure. There we go, and then another one here, and then I'll just kind of like check, yep, without piercing my fingers. There we go. Okay, that's all done. I'm going to get my thread. This is just ordinary embroidery floss, and I've got 4 strands. And because I think I'm going to have the ends of the threads of the knot and the ends of the thread outside, and I'm going in through the middle. This can sometimes be a bit tricky, even though we made sure that the holes go through. There we go. I have to make sure that I'm leaving a little bit on the outside, enough so that I can tie a knot. There we go. And then I'm going the next hole, I'm going kind of like up and then back in. You have to be careful that you don't pierce your finger. And then going downwards. And then back through the middle hole. Always making sure, I'm going to stick that. Always making sure that I'm the thread is nice and tight. Go back in. And then I'm making my way down. And got the last hole. And I'm going back in there. And I can take these out because all the pages are now being held in place. And then, oops, just thinking if, okay, and then I'll just go kind of once underneath the thread, kind of loop it around once, and then I'm just going to tie a double knot. Two. I'm going to cut it. Alright, here we go. And it's finished. Okay, so let's have a look. So we've got the front, and I can just stick my little cards in here. Then I've got my first page, you know, that folds open. Oh, hang on, let's use one of these, and I can just stick something in here and fold it over. And I've even got a little pocket here. There you go. Oh yes, we can just have that here for now. Perfect. Okay. And then we've got all the different pages. One to fold out, and then we've got this little pocket, and graph paper, and the vellum, and the book page, kind of all of these. So I've made it as, you know, an insert I can use for writing in, so I was okay with just kind of like loads of papers and not so many images. We've got this book page, another page to fold out, and then we're in the middle with the envelope, so that works really well. And there we go, the other side of the book page. And another fold out page, vellum. I think these colours work so well with it. And then we've got the other little pocket, and then another fold out, and the back of the map. And I've got another pocket here, and I've got my bookmark. There we go. And let's have a look what it looks like in the Midori. Okay, here we go. And now I've just put it into my Midori, and I think it looks really nice, and it fits in here, and even the pages that are sticking out, that works really well. So yeah, I have to say I'm really happy with the result, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed my little adventure of trying to work out if I could turn a you know, a coffee packaging into a traveler's notebook insert, but I think that worked quite well. So yeah, let me know what you think. And let me know if you've tried something similar, and if you have, you know, feel free to tag me. I would really love to see what you've been making. Yes, remember to subscribe if you like to see more things like these. You know, hit the like button if you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope you're all having a really fantastic day, and see you soon. Bye.